The world stands at a crossroads. A new report from the International Monetary Fund (IMF) has sent shockwaves through global markets. Leaders from every major economy are gathering to assess the growing storm on the horizon. The IMF's latest warning is simple yet chilling: the world economy is entering a fragile phase. Trade wars are re-emerging. Geopolitical tensions are escalating. And new financial shocks are being predicted if global cooperation fails. The IMF states that the next 6 months could define the economic path for an entire generation. According to the report, global growth in 2025 is expected to be 3.2%. But that optimism could fade fast if the United States and China fail to reach new trade understandings. The ongoing tariff disputes are quietly spreading across other sectors, from energy and technology to agriculture and shipping. Rare earth minerals, crucial for electric vehicles and AI systems, have become the new front line of the global economic battlefield. China holds more than 60% of the global supply. Any disruption could hit the world like a tidal wave. Meanwhile, the United States is tightening export controls. American companies are being urged to find alternative partners. But experts warn, replacing China's manufacturing base is easier said than done. This could trigger a new wave of inflation, just as many nations were beginning to recover from the shocks of the pandemic years. The IMF's chief economist stated, "The era of easy growth is over. Nations must adapt or risk being left behind." That stark message has been echoed across Europe and Asia. Germany has warned that global fragmentation could cost the world 7% of total GDP, a figure equal to the size of the combined economies of France and India. Central banks, meanwhile, are struggling to balance inflation control with growth. High interest rates are putting pressure on developing economies, especially those dependent on dollar-based debt. Countries in Africa, Latin America, and South Asia are facing rising borrowing costs. Many fear a repeat of the 1980s debt crisis. But the challenge isn't just financial. Extreme weather events have intensified the crisis. From record floods in Asia to wildfires in Europe and heatwaves across North America. Climate change is now reshaping economic priorities. The IMF warns that climate disasters could cost the world over $5 trillion annually by 2030. Technology, once a source of growth, has become another point of contention. The race for AI supremacy is dividing the world into blocks. Nations are competing for chips, algorithms, and data dominance. As AI systems replace jobs, millions are being displaced, raising social unrest and widening income gaps. Global leaders are being called to act. The IMF urges nations to strengthen cooperation rather than competition. It highlights that diplomacy, trade reform, and climate investment could stabilize markets and restore confidence. Despite these warnings, some nations remain defiant. The United States insists on protecting national industries. China continues to expand its Belt and Road Initiative. Europe seeks autonomy through green investments and defense integration. The world is moving, but not necessarily in one direction. Financial analysts say that without decisive action, the 2020s could become the lost decade of growth. But there are still signs of hope. New energy partnerships in Africa, Asia's expanding digital economy, and renewed talks between major economies show a faint light in the tunnel. Global cooperation has always risen in times of crisis. And once again, the world stands at that same crossroad. Will nations unite, or divide further into rival?